making that video on the creamy soup base. So what I'm going to show you tonight is how to turn those into a couple soups. I wanted to use up the soups that we used in the demonstration earlier today. I'm making 3 types of soups, and this is about 1/4 recipe. Of course, these aren't actual recipes, so don't look in the description below for them. What I have here is about 1½ cups of raw broccoli that cooked down to probably a cup or so. There's a little bit of onion in there, and I want to remind you, do not salt these vegetables while you're cooking them because the base soup has quite a bit of salt in it. Now this particular vegetable soup, I've got onions, carrots, celery, corn. Let me see what else is in there. There's cauliflower, broccoli, and radishes. A friend of mine roasts radishes, and they do taste good in this soup. And of course, I love chickpeas, so there's some chickpeas there. Now this is surprising. This was almost a cup of chopped up mushrooms, fresh mushrooms, and you can see how much it has shrunk. Now each of these soups would use about 1/4 cup of base and a cup of liquid. So for the broccoli soup, I am using the base that we made using soy milk. You can see the consistency of the soy milk. For the mushroom soup, I wanted something a little bit thicker, so I'm using the coconut milk. And for the vegetables, since there was almost 2 cups of vegetables that were raw, I am using closer to 1/2 cup of base and probably 1.5 cups, 2 cups of water. I'll stir each of these. You can see that soy milk, it thickened up pretty nicely. Here's the cream of mushroom soup. It's the thickest with the coconut milk. And here's the vegetable soup. What I'm going to be adding to the vegetable soup is a little bit of garlic chili paste. And I'm going to be adding a little bit of bruschetta, probably about 1 teaspoon. With each of these soups, you will need to heat them and cook the vegetables to the doneness that you like. Then you can also look at them. Do you want them a little bit thinner? If you do, of course, just add a little bit more water or whatever base liquid you have. I'm going to go heat these up right now because they will change just a tiny bit when heated. Something I wanted to remind you, it's really important to let these soups simmer a tiny bit because the vegetables have not been seasoned and the base of the soup is a little bit salty. With it soaking and simmering for a little bit, some of that salt's going to go into the vegetables and it's going to balance out this soup. This was the broccoli soup. The soups have simmered about 30 minutes, and when you taste them, the vegetables now taste well salted. And I just want you to see the consistency. So we basically made 1 serving. This is the mushroom soup. Again, I want you to see the consistency of it. Very nice. It's really about exactly where I would want it to be. Other thing that I have is a couple mushrooms to float on top. And these are just to make it pretty. And lastly, I have the vegetable soup, and it turned out just wonderful. However, I love chickpeas, and in my mind, Bush's chickpeas are the best. They're cooked the right amount. They're the exact right tenderness. So I'm just going to add a couple more chickpeas to this. And this was the soup that had a tiny bit of heat. At the table, I would let each person add another little drizzle of chili garlic sauce. These soup bases, they're delicious, and I think you're going to find that you want to keep this in your refrigerator or freezer from time to time so you can throw together some yummy, creamy soup. See you next week. As I went to put this soup away, I thought, this is so good, I'm going to taste it on screen. So this one's the broccoli. The broccoli is just crisp, tender. It's great. It has a nice green color. Now this is the mushroom soup. That might be one of my favorites. I'm not sure. And lastly, let's go in for that vegetable soup that's a tiny bit hot. And I hope I didn't make it too hot for myself. That was just right. See you again. This is my second goodbye for tonight.